Hello, and welcome back to Invitation to Puzzles, where today we have a Thermo puzzle by FullDeck and missing a few cards, who you might infer by their frequent appearance on this series. I quite like as setters, and as people, to be clear, and as people. So let's have a look at this. So this is a Thermo puzzle. On a Thermo, you always have to put the digits in order, the same order they would go on a weather thermometer. So the bulb is the coldest part, so that's the lowest number, and then you put the numbers all the way up to, and then the tip will be the highest. You can't repeat numbers, so every notch is strictly higher than the one before it. However, note that unlike a thermometer, the numbers don't go up in fixed increments. So it could go 1, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, or something like that. You can skip as many digits as you like. That part is perhaps unintuitive, but that is how it works. There's a link down in the description if you want to give this puzzle a try. Now I'm going to go ahead and give this a try. And so there are lots of things that show up in blink, my brain broke. There are lots of things that usually show up in Thermo puzzles. And one of them that shows up a lot is that you can't put a 1 or a 9 in very many places on a Thermo. So, for example, let's look at box 5 and ask where we could put a 1. Well, if I put it in any of these places, it's a problem. Because if I put it in any of these places, then I'm saying, well, hey, we have put some digits, in fact, at least 3 digits smaller than this on the Thermo already. That's not going to work. So the 1 has to be in one of these cells. But if you look at row 6, it's even better. Because in row 6, again, the only thing that's not partially along a Thermo or at the tip of a Thermo are the 2 cells I have not highlighted. So actually the 1 in this row has to be here. Which if you then look at row 5 is quite potent, because now where's the 1 in row 5? Now it can't go in any of these 3 cells, because the 1 in box 5 I know is in one of these 2 cells. So we basically laundered that deduction through row 6 into box 5, if you like, to get that these 2 cells aren't 1. So now the 1 in this row actually only has this 1 single cell to go. So that cell is the 1. One of these 2 is a 1, but I'm a lot less excited about that, I'll be honest. Now, in fact, I'm going to actually notice I can say a lot more here. Which is that these digits are all the 4th, 5th, or 6th spot along a Thermo. So they're all at least 4. And we could do slightly better than that if you want, because I could say, for example, okay, well, this one's at least 4, so this one's at least 5, so this one's at least 6, but I don't really care about that. What I do really care about at the moment is that actually it's not just the 1 that's in this box that's forced into these 4 cells, it's also the 2 and the 3. So I should think about where the 2 and the 3 go. And the thing that jumps out at me to do is to ask about where 2 goes in row 5, now that we've placed the 1. And namely, the place the 2 has to go is going to be in one of these 2 bulbs, because, again, the 2's not there. And I can't put a 2 partway along a Thermo if I can't put a 1 in the bulb, right? I could make this a 2 if I could make that a 1, but I can't anymore. And this digit's huge, so that's not going to help either. So actually, one of these 2 is the 2, so neither of these is the 2. Okay, so we've got some action with 2s, which is nice. Let's see. Let's continue playing this game. Well, here's another useful thing to notice. So I was thinking only about low digits, but now let's turn everything upside down and let's think about high digits. Namely, let's clean up the high digits here just to show how this works. This is, of course, at most a 9 because there aren't any higher digits. So this can't be a 9. And now this digit's at most an 8, so this can't actually be an 8 or a 9. And in particular, that shows you that the 9 in this box is definitely within this row, because I'm not putting a 9 in any of these cells, right? There's no possible way that I am putting a 9 in one of those cells. I would need to dream up 2 or 3 digits bigger than it. That does tell me that the 9 in this box is in the tip of one of these 2 thermos, and the 9 in this box is in the tip of one of these 3 thermos, but that doesn't feel incredibly useful. Let's see. What other places can we look? Let's see. So here's one place I can look, actually. Where is 9 in column 9 is something I see. So not partially along a thermo, which rules out all of those, which actually tells me the 9 is in one of these 2 cells, which is quite consistent, I suppose, with this statement about this 9, but it did rule out one of those cells. The 1 in this column is a little bit fiddlier, unfortunately. Oh, here's a good point. The 9 in this box is actually just placed. I looked at this box for 1 so many times, but I've not looked at it for 9 yet, which is unfortunate. But we can just say, actually, these are all not the tip of the thermo. Those aren't the tip of the thermo. So actually, the 9 in this box is actually just placed. It's just there. And that, yeah, that in turn places the 9 now in this box, because I can't put the 9 in a row with a 9, or for that matter, a column with a 9, but that's not actually useful because we placed this 9 by knowing that these couldn't be 9 to start with. And again, not partially along a thermo, so the 9 here is actually placed. And now those 9s look up into box 3. These are partially along a thermo, so they're not 9. So this 9's actually just right there. Oh, I could have said this before, but I'll say it now. Where's the 9 in this box? Well, originally I could have said it's in one of these 3 cells, but now I can do better. It's in one of these 2 cells, because all of these cells are not the tip of their thermo. So that means this isn't a 9 because I couldn't put 9 in this box at all. And so actually now this 9 is placed as well. If we are into that kind of thing, which I suppose by virtue of being on this channel we are. I see that one of these 2 is 9. Just by Sudoku and by the fact that that one is partially along a thermo, so it can't be 9. Oh, somehow I failed to actually mark that it was 9. And so the question to ask ourselves now is, where does 9 go in column 3? This is requiring me perhaps to remember that I marked that 9 was in one of these. It doesn't really, I guess, because you could just look at 9 in column 3 and say, okay, well, in this box, we've already said it's over there. It's not partway along a thermo. It's not immediately orthogonally adjacent to a 9. It's not part of the way along a thermo. So in fact, the 9 is here, which places that 9 there. And we've nearly got all of the 9s in the grid. I will actually keep these corner marked 9s just for fun. But what can you do? Okay. So we've made some progress with 9s. I will note, by the way, once this stops being able to be 9, we might note that now, since this is at most 8, this cell's at most 7, and this cell's at most 6. I don't know if this is going to be a useful game to continue playing or not, but we'll try it. Why not? Let's see. Okay, well, this is at most 5, at most 4, at most 3, if I sort of continue that, but that doesn't feel that useful. I am noticing that like 2 in this box is in only one of these spots. And 2 in this box is in only one of these spots. And that kind of, oh, sorry, no, this 2 could be there. Kind of almost sort of starts to say something, but not quite. I can look up the 1 in this box is in one of these cells. Let's see, can I do more with 1s somewhere that would be helpful? Annoyingly, that can still be a 1. Because if this couldn't be a 1, that would be good for our general cause. 1 in this column is only in one of these 2 cells. And this is literally a skyscraper, but I don't think it does anything. So I'm not going to talk about a skyscraper is unless it turns out I really actually somehow benefit from the skyscraper. But I'm quite sure, I think, that this skyscraper does not do anything. But if you want to go learn a new favorite advanced Sudoku technique, which comes up in approximately 1 in 2,000 puzzles, you can go learn about skyscrapers. Okay, this row, I notice, actually also has 1 quite restricted. It's only in one of those. Okay, so here's a thing I can do. 1 and 2 in this box can't go in these cells. So 1 and 2 in this box have to go here, and you could never put a 1 and a 2 anywhere but these 3 cells. So that's always a 1 or a 2, is a bizarre kind of logic that I can use. I don't think it's a kind of logic I'm presently inclined to use, but I might become inclined to use it. So we can always look at 8 in this column, and I think that's actually kind of interesting as well, because 8 in this column can't possibly go anywhere in these cells, and that's because of the various places we've put 9s. That cell can't possibly be a 9, so this is actually at most 7, and so likewise the 9 is in one of these 2 cells, so the 8 certainly doesn't go anywhere but there, or anywhere further than there. So actually the 8 in this column is definitely in this box. Which now, if I look at it, that actually tells me, okay, yeah, that's actually going to get me a digit in a weird way, because now where does the 8 in this box go? Well, not in this column, and not part of the way along this thermo, because it would need to have a 9 afterwards, and it can't, so the 8 is in one of those 2 cells. And so now when I look when I look down at box 9 now, the 8's not going in either of these cells. I would need to dream up a digit between 8 and 9, or in this case, 3 digits between 8 and 9. So the 8 only goes there. In this instance. Oh, here was a much easier thing. Much easier. This digit is at most a 7, because there's 2 digits bigger than it. And so none of these digits can be 8. These digits are even at most 5. And so the 8 in this box has actually been placed almost from the very beginning, right there. Now, annoyingly, the same is not true of 7, but I do actually know the 7 is living in this row somewhere. Let's see, if that were a 7, then it would have to go 8, 9 that way. Oh, no. Let's not think about that. Let's think about what that 8 did, because now 8 is placed in this box. Because again, these digits can't be 8, because they need to have 2 digits or 3 digits bigger than them, and 8 does not have that. And so the only digit that can be 8 now is that one, which seems to have actually made these 2 digits an 8-9 pair, which is going to make disentangling which is which quite interesting. Because, yeah, I don't know how we're possibly going to do that, but I guess we'll figure it out. Okay. So we got that 8-9 pair. Yeah, the 8 over in this box can go either on the other tip or before the 9. I don't think that's going to matter too much. Okay, how much am I willing to start pencil marking? I'm not, because I see that I can place 8 by Sudoku in box 2. These two 8s both look up at box 2, ruling 8 out of all of those. Can't put 8 anywhere but the second to last spot on a Thermo, and only then if there's a 9 after it, which in this case there is, so we can bounce back and do that. One of these two is an 8. This column needs an 8, as I suspect going to be interesting. Because the 8 is not going in this box. It's not going in the row with an 8. Oh, annoyingly, it can go here. It certainly can't go there. It can't go there or there just by Sudoku. So, somewhat annoyingly, the 8, in fact, actually has 2 spots that it can live in. That is unfortunate, as they say. Yeah, the 8, I know one of these 3 is an 8, but I don't know which one. Of course, if it's that one, then it forces where the 9 goes, and then everything goes well from there, probably. So yeah, so if I sort of look at this column, this column is... I was going to say it's like 2 Thermos. This column just literally is 2 Thermos, one of which ends in 8 and one of which ends in 9. So we just put these 3 in order and these in order. And basically we just sort of have to say, okay, well, where does the 1 go? It's going to go in one of these 2. Where does the 7 go in the column? It's going to go in one of these 2, that kind of thing. That doesn't feel too useful just yet. Okay. I did know that one of these was 2. Yeah, the 2 in this box is quite restricted. Yeah, I wonder if I'm supposed to go back to low digits or not at this point. Okay, well, here's something that I should have seen a long time ago. So yes, there was definitely a low digit thing I did not mark that I could have marked. One of these 2 cells is the 1 for this box. And that one together with that one looks up at this box and says that that digit is a 1. Now, that digit being a 1... presumably, maybe, possibly does something. I can't imagine what. But it's certainly something I should have seen sooner. I wonder if these 2 is a 1. Yeah, that 1 does not do anything by Sudoku that I might hope that it would. Like, yeah, one of those 2 is a 2. Doesn't seem that exciting. Of course, I know one of these 3 is a 1, but that also doesn't seem that exciting. I can, of course, just write the max and min into these cells. I just don't see how it could possibly help, is the problem. Oh, that's very clever. I see the point here. The point here is I've been saying, where do 8 and 9 go in this box? And I've talked about this a couple times, but there's a key point here that I missed. So I said 8 and 9 go either on the tip of the Thermo or the second to last on the Thermo. I actually can't put 8 second to last on this Thermo. or this thermo. Because if I do, it's followed by a 9, and now that cell, looking at it across the grid, is broken because it needs to be 8 or 9. Likewise, this can't be 8 because then that would be 9, making that cell broken. So actually, these two cells are an 8-9 pair, which assuredly must tell me something, right? Yes, it does. It tells me where 8 goes in column 3, like we spoke about before, because 8 in column 3, I said before, could go here, but it actually can't go there. And so the 8 in this column now, by that deduction, now actually has to go, in fact, exactly here, because these two cells see 8 by Sudoku. So that's 8, which makes that 9, which is how we resolve all of the 8s and 9s in the universe that we have had floating around this whole time. So now we've actually got all the 8s and all the 9s in the grid. And so now 7s are as good as 9s. For our purposes, meaning that 7s can only go on the furthest cell along a thermo that doesn't already have an 8 or a 9 in it, because there aren't any more 8s and 9s to discover. Okay, I think we can use that immediately in this box, because we know the 7 can only go on one of these two, right? That can't be a 7, that digit is at most 6. So one of these two is 7, and I think I can chase that 7 around a little bit. So if I chase it into this box, I say that's not 7, which rules 7 off of this whole thermo, can only put 7 on the tip, so the 7 has to go here. Over here, the 7 goes in one of these two. I don't know which one. Let's see. Up into this box, actually, the 7 goes in one of these two cells, because it's not going there. We need to invent 2 digits between 7 and 8, which then actually lets us place the 7 in this box, because we know it goes in one of these two, and it can only actually go in that one by thermo stuff. Okay, so now 7 looks at this thermo, so it's ruled off of this thermo. 7 can't go in this thermo at all, because that would need to be an 8 or a 9, and it can't, so 7's actually placed there, which actually comes back and places that 7 over there. Good. Okay. What now? Can I do more with 7s? Probably, yeah. 7 goes in one of these cells, and it can only be that one, actually, in this box. So that's not a 7, which actually means this isn't even a 6. Maybe it's finally time for me to mark the rest of this. This is at most 4, 3, 2, and at least 1, 2, 3. This is some digit to be named later. Oh, yeah. The question is just, where does 7 go in this box now? Because 7 can't go over here. It can't go in either of these cells. It can't go in either of these cells either. So actually, that's the 7, which makes that the 7. And that the 7. And apparently I still have a 7 I haven't placed in the grid. Yes, there's a 7 here that I haven't placed just by Sudoku. It's the last 7. Okay, so now 6s are as good as 9s. For in the same sense as before, where now if we ask where 6 goes, now in particular in this box, we know where the 6 goes because we can't put 6 in any of these 5 cells. And that's using the fact that we know we've placed every single 7, 8, and 9 in the grid. So that is a 6, like that, which was admittedly not the most useful immediately. Okay, so where is the 6 in this box? It's there or there. Yeah, I think the 6 in row 1 is, I think, the point, because I think it probably has to go here. Certainly can't go there or there. Yeah, those are all too far up. So yeah, so the 6 in row 1 is, in fact, placed there, for what it is worth. Okay, so the 6... Oh, the 6 is placed. Okay, let's do it this way. The 6 in this box is placed because I can't put the 6 along this thermo because there's nothing to go there if I do. And I can't put the 6 in a row with the 6. So the 6 is actually placed there. So that is at least a thing. So now one of in fact, now that exactly is a 6. And now one of these two is a 6, but it's not the one that would require me to put a 6.5 between it and the 7. So that's the 6. Yeah, we need a 6 over here somewhere. Okay. Yeah, the 6. So here's the point. That cell's not a 6 by Sudoku. So I can't put 6 on this thermo, so the 6 has to go in this column, but there's no digit bigger than 6 that could go after it because the tip of this can't be 7, 8, or 9. So in fact, that just is the 6, which makes that the 6, which makes that the 6, which makes that the 6. And now 5s are as good as 9s. As we continue slowly learning new numbers that are smaller than the previous number that we knew. Okay, so yeah, so where's 5 in this? Oh no, I could put the 5 there or there, never mind. One of these two is a 5 at the very least. It's probably worth marking, actually. One of these two is definitely a 5. Because I can't put the 5 in any of these, and so therefore, where is 5 in row 9? 5 in row 9 is only here. And so now 5 in this box can only possibly be there. Okay, good. I did not re-break it somehow. Last time I started thinking about 5s, I broke the puzzle, so I got slightly paranoid. Okay, so these are from 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a 3 and a 4 down here. This one's certainly not a 4. That one's certainly not a 1, at the very least. In fact, this one, if you like, it's not even actually able to be a 2, because if this was a 2, that would be a 1, and it would break that cell if you're into that kind of thing. So if this was a 4, that would have to be a 5, but who knows? Okay, what else am I doing with 5s? Let's see. I do see that the 5 in this box is in one of those two cells by Sudoku. So the 5 in this box is in one of these two. Oh. I never marked it, but I actually know that 1 is in one of these two cells in this box now. I guess I didn't know it until very recently, until I filled in those. But now 1 is in one of these. And so that actually places the 1 here in this box because of the 1s looking into it. So that gives me the 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that. Okay, so these are a 5 and a 2. Over here. So these are one of them's a 1. So ta-da, that one's the 1. That's the 1. And this is a 4. And now in this box, what have we got left? We've got 2 and 3, and we actually know the order. And in this column, we seem to have 2 and 5, and we know the order. So this box, we know where the 5 goes. This column, we're missing 3 and 4, making that a 2. This box seems to be missing a 1, placing that 1 over there, which I thought was going to be the break-in, the fact that the 1 was in one of these two cells, and I think at no point until literally now did it do anything. But what can you do? Sometimes you find the thing that is not going to be a step in the puzzle until 7 hours from now. Let's see. Yeah, so where's the 2 in this column? I guess that's a little bit open for interpretation. One of those two is a 3. Does it matter if that's a 2? Then that's definitely a 1. I know that much at least. Uh, Okay, things were going very well. Let's see. Do I have all the fives in the grid? Not quite. Can I do better with fives? Well, oh yeah, okay. I can place. I know that one of these two has to be the five because again, every bigger digit is gone, so I can't put the five in this row. And so that's the five. And now looking over into this box, I try and place the five, and the five can only go there, giving me the 2 and the 5, which funnily enough does not actually resolve the issue I was having. It does make that a 5, though. And now we do need a 2 in this column somewhere, so that's not a 2. 4s are now in the spot that I can do this. Let's see, what are these? These are a 4 and a 3, I want to say. Seems so. Oh, this is a naked single. I should probably fill it in. It seems to be a 4. Okay, which seems to make that a 4. Okay, so these are from 1, 2, 3. So that's a 1 or a 2. That's a 2 or a 3. This is a 1, 2, or 3, and it's not a 2 because we actually know the 2 in column 9 is over here. I don't know that that degree of specificity is going to help us, but what can you do? This digit is also a 2 or a 3. But it can't be a 2, because if this digit was a 2, then that bulb would need to be a 1, which would break this column. So in fact, we can do this like that, and now this is a 2, which breaks those. So now that's the 3 and that's the 2 from our work back at the quote-unquote break-in of the puzzle. There we go. There's a 4, making that a 3 and a 4. 2, let's see, there's a 3. One of these is a 2. It had better be that one. And then I guess there's only 4s left in the puzzle, so I can just fill in 4s until we're done. There we go. Very nice Thermo puzzle there. I got off thinking about something involving this geometry, which then turned out to not be the thing. But once we started realizing that we needed to place all the 9s, then all the 8s, then all the 7s, then all the 6s, then everything chugged along smoothly. And as so often happens, the thinking that we did at the beginning, which didn't immediately yield fruit, proceeded to yield fruit there at the very end, because usually if a step isn't needed when you find it, often it'll be needed later. All right, that's going to be all for today's episode, though. Thanks to everyone for watching. I'll see you next time on Invitation to Puzzles. Bye for now.